Welcome to another episode of Chat GRC on the Blue-Lusional podcast, where every week we interview a new grassroots candidate leading up to the 2026 midterms. You could say that we are in midterms right now. There's primaries. It's March 3rd. There are primaries happening right now. Midterms is not just a singular day that happens in November, but we are here with another citizens impeachment bestie, someone who is very, very accomplished. Ma'am, please introduce yourself and what
Thank
you
you
are
so
running
much.
for.
My name is Jillian Gilchrest. I'm currently a state representative in the state of Connecticut. I represent West Hartford. I am a social worker and a mom, and I am running for Congress in Connecticut's first congressional district.
Yes,
Who says women can't have it all? All right? Come on
Exactly.
now. Come
right.
on. She's
This is
doing
what
it.
we're talking about. This is what we're talking about. We need more women in charge, and the women know what they're doing. They do.
Yes,
Stop
they
voting
do.
for men.
Well,
Well, men have had a turn for quite a while, so maybe we should
Yeah, we're
change
good.
it up.
Yeah.
yes. And this is a fun question because usually the people we're interviewing, this is their first time running for anything, but you are not new to politics. You've been a state rep, I believe you've done 4 terms as a
Mhm.
state rep. So
Yeah.
what made you decide to move on and go towards Congress?
Well, I mean, maybe you've noticed, but things are a little intense right now in this country. And so I don't see how we change what's going on in this country without changing who works for us in Washington. The
Yeah.
system is broken, and we need to elect new people who believe that the government can actually do good by people and that we can move in a different direction. And so I am challenging a Democratic incumbent who has been in office for 27 years. And while it is not entirely his fault, he is part of a broken system.
Yes.
And he has not used the seat with the urgency that this moment calls for, but also in his last 27 years, he hasn't used the seat to push for the change people need. And so I ran back in 2018 and I challenged
Yep.
a Democratic incumbent. He had been in office for 23 years. And similar situation where you don't just sit there and talk about how you're a solid Democratic vote. You got to
Yeah.
get to the vote. And it
Yeah.
takes a lot of work to get to the vote. And so I refused to sit back. So I jumped into the race.
I
I love
love it.
that.
I
We need
love
the urgency.
that there's so many people we're interviewing that are going up, to flip seats that are red to blue. So when we're talking to people who aren't looking to actually flip a seat, but to change out the person in that seat, it's so important because I think to your point, people, I grew up in Massachusetts, so it's the same thing. Oh, it's blue. It's always going to be blue. So it really doesn't matter who's in the seat as long as it's blue. No, we have learned very quickly that it absolutely matters who is in the seat, even if they're a Democrat, because we've witnessed some people who say they're Democrats but don't vote that way. We've witnessed people who are getting corporate PAC money. So it really doesn't matter what side of the aisle they actually are on. They are bought and paid for. And then to your point, people that kind of just sit around, get complacent, they don't really care about their constituents, and they just continue to win every year because nobody goes to those races and votes because it's going to be blue no matter what.
Yes.
This is important conversation to have.
Yeah. And the only way to change it is a Democratic primary.
Mm-hmm. Right?
Because
Yes.
that's, this seat in particular it's considered, it's a safe seat. It's a blue state. It's a very blue district. And then my take on that is, well, then, my goodness, we should be using this seat to push for as much change as possible.
Exactly.
Why in the world would you just take this
Exactly.
for granted?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's always room for improvement.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, we can push for better. We can push for better.
We can do.
So here, I want you to put your teacher hat on. Everybody doesn't know things. People don't know what primaries are. People don't know what Congress people do. What does a congressperson do? And how can you use that influence on the local level?
Sure. So a congressperson represents a certain area of the state in Washington, D.C. And that word is important to me, represent, because that means my role as a congressperson is to come and listen and learn from people in the community, understand what it is they need, And then my skill set is translating that into effective public policy and working on advocacy campaigns to push for change. And so right now, I serve folks in my town at the state legislature. I'm trying to serve 27 towns down in Washington, D.C. A primary is when in Connecticut, we have what's called a closed primary system. So you have to be a
Okay.
registered Democrat.
Yep.
If you're unaffiliated, you can register as a Democrat to vote in the primary, and then the very next day you could go back to being unaffiliated.
Same
But
here.
if you want to participate in the process, which I would ask you to please do, the primary is going to be on August 11th in the state of Connecticut. And before I even get to that point, we have a convention in May 11th,
Okay.
where I'm trying to get 15% of the delegates, so this goes into the weed for people who don't know, to get onto the ballot. And then the Democratic primary is when you can vote for who you want to run against a Republican in the general election in November.
Can you explain the delegate process?
Yes. So right now, there are 27 towns in Connecticut's first congressional district. So right now, I'm going out to each of those towns, meeting people, letting them know who I am and why I'm running. I'm also going out and meeting with each town's Democratic Town Committee. The Democratic Town Committee chooses delegates who will go to the convention. Not as big as the National Democratic Convention that you might see on TV. There won't be a Jumbotron, but it will probably be in a big room. It'll be in a big auditorium. And those delegates get to vote for who they want to be the Democratic nominee for this congressional seat. Whoever gets 50% plus one of the votes of the delegates gets the top line. But if you get 15% of the delegates, which is just 61 people, I just need 61 delegates to vote for me, then I can get 15% and I get on the ballot.
Wow.
And in Connecticut, what's interesting, an incumbent congressperson has never had a primary challenge because the Democratic town committees have always kind of closed rank and only voted for the incumbent. And so this could be the first Democratic primary in our state's history where an incumbent actually has a Democratic primary.
Wow.
I'm laughing because it's just we're both seeing like our side does not like primaries.
No.
You hate a primary.
They don't.
And
They
so,
don't like
but
it.
what is interesting, when I did this in 2018, now it was just my town Democratic committee was pissed. And they said, like, we don't go against our own. How dare you do this?
Wow.
But I did it and I followed the process and I won. I didn't get their endorsement. I had to petition on because that's a different process, but did everything you're supposed to do. And now this time that's shifted. There are still some old timers who are like, we don't do this. But the majority of Democratic town committees, when I'm speaking with people, they have a lot of respect for the congressman, but they are ready for change and they are ready for a primary.
It's time. Over 20 years.
Good.
That's
Good. Yeah.
I feel like that's plenty of time to do what you needed to do, and you didn't really do what you needed to do. So you need to get somebody else in there.
Yeah,
So that would be, like, to your point, pretty historic for this incumbent. And also just explaining that process, because we have learned through this, we're all learning as we go. I think a lot of people didn't understand that primaries are different pretty much in every single state. Some people have to get a certain amount of signatures to get on a ballot. Some people have to raise a certain amount of money. Some people have delegate votes, and it's so hard to understand the process. So it's nice to hear it in what we like to call normal people terms and not like politicians talking at you with big words you can't understand.
And so I've been running since August. And in November, I had friends reach out being like, good luck today. And I'm like, not yet, but like, thank you so much. Because it is so hard. Like, the process is confusing and
it is. So many people today were like, "Where I don't my polling place that doesn't have, like, an election." And I'm like, "What state are you in?" It's like, "Oh, I'm in California." You know,
I
maybe
ran into
someday for you.
I ran into somebody, like, people were like, "Oh, like, it's today," and then someone was like, "No, voting day is actually November 3rd," and I'm like, "Don't listen to him. He doesn't know what he's talking about."
Google it. Google your state.
Literally, this has become educational because we've all
Mhm.
had to say, "Okay, the system isn't working, the system's broken." So it's on all of us to educate ourselves so that we can go to the polls on the correct day and be informed about the process. Not only that, but be informed about what it takes to run for office.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people, it's their first time ever running. So we're getting a lot of people who are interested in the future of
Mm.
politics. And so we have to all, we all have to do our part. So it's just insane. But obviously, you've had an incumbent for over 20 years. They have not been helping Connecticut. This is the first time we've really talked to somebody from a true blue state. And one of the big things people love to say about the blue states is you guys are fine. The blue states aren't affected by this administration. So let's hear from you. How have
Mhm.
your constituents been affected by this current administration in a blue state?
In so many ways. So, I mean, I do love Connecticut, right? I love where I live. We also have some of the highest income inequality in the country. I think we're the
Mm.
second, ranked second.
Mm.
So we have high highs and we have low lows. And this administration has actually hit the middle class on down in Connecticut in terms of healthcare costs. Everybody I talk to can't access healthcare. They're paying 3,000 the middle class, they're paying $3,000 a month for healthcare. And then when they
Some people
actually
don't
go to
even make
use the healthcare, they owe an additional 2,000.
Mm-hmm.
What? And then we've got folks who nearly 1,000,000 people in Connecticut, which is a third of our state, receive their healthcare through Medicaid.
Mm.
Well, the federal government is cutting that left and right and about to enact work requirements, which we have never required, nor do we support. And so we know that's just another way for them to kick more people off Medicaid. The majority of people who receive Medicaid in our state do work.
Yeah.
Um, so this is just adding an administrative burden. They're also going to require people to check in now twice a year instead of once a
To
year. I
re-register.
don't know about you. I hate doing my taxes. Right? Like, I couldn't today, I was
Right?
like, "Oh god, is April next month? Like, I can't believe
Right.
this is happening again." Like,
Again.
every year.
Right now.
And so, the fact that people are gonna have to get all that paperwork together twice a year,
Crazy.
and on the flip side, our state has to make sure we can do that, which is staff, the
Mhm.
infrastructure, costs a lot of money. So the federal government is really just hitting us hard in terms of unnecessary costs that are then
Mhm.
just going to negatively impact people being able to access care.
Yep.
We're also seeing the same thing with food. So our SNAP program, and we've been a state that takes refugees and asylees. We're proud of that. We have robust systems in place. And now the federal government has cut them off from SNAP and Medicaid. And
Mhm.
so trying to make up those losses has had a significant toll on our state. We also have undocumented immigrants, and there's a great deal of fear. Thankfully, to this point, don't look like what's happening in Minnesota, in other states, but we have had ICE come
Mhm.
into car washes and just into towns and take folks. And there's just a level of fear in our
Yep.
state. To me, I keep describing it, it feels like the pandemic again, but this time Donald Trump created it. Like, what? We don't need this again. Like, that was really intense. Can we move forward? And it's just that intensity again, but created by the government.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Every
Yeah.
time that man comes around, we're shoved back into our homes.
We are.
Yes.
And I think so many people, and I hear it time and time again, they're like, Connecticut, New England, even
Mhm.
Minnesota, like those are blue states. They're fine. They're the sanctuary cities. They're fine. They all have all the funding. They'll take care of their people. And they truly don't believe that this administration affects everyone. It doesn't
Mhm.
matter if you're in a blue state or not. Obviously, with executive orders and all of that, it's more likely that your state's going to not follow an executive order put forth by Trump. But all in all, the tariffs,
Mhm.
ICE, and I mean, they are targeting blue
Yeah.
states because they're upset with blue states. So those are important conversations to have about how our states are being affected because we're 1 year in.
You're 1 year in.
Uh,
It
it's been
hurts.
87
It
years.
physically hurts.
Yeah.
One.
Mhm.
1 year.
It's
How?
insane.
How?
It's felt like a generation.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Aged.
Yeah.
that's why we got to get you and all the other people in so
Oh,
we can at least make this guy a lame duck
Mhm.
and we can start reversing some of the things they're doing and working on new stuff. But when I was looking up your impressive resume, I see, you are trying to do the healthcare. You're trying to get the healthcare done. So when you do get in, what kind of realistic healthcare
Mhm.
legislation would you try to put forth? Because everybody thinks, oh, universal healthcare, it can be done just like
Well,
that. Just do it.
great point. So, yeah, to me, it's always about, like, long-term goals, short-term goals, and
mhm.
long-term goal for me is universal healthcare. I think we should have a single-payer healthcare system
Okay.
where everyone can access the care they need. But what do we do to get there? And so I keep talking about getting profit out of healthcare. And so what I mean by that is if we are still going to be using insurance companies in the near future, then we need to hold them accountable. And 95% of what a health insurance company makes right now goes to their shareholders. That's ridiculous. And that model does not work because the only way they're going to continue to increase their profits each year is by cutting access, by denying claims. And so that's not what healthcare is about. And federal government can hold them accountable, can regulate that. And I know
Mhm.
that to be true because I get my health care through the government. I am a state employee as a state
Yep.
representative, and my health care is amazing
Oh yeah,
be-
that state employee
because the
benefits are great.
state holds the insurance companies accountable because they have a large pool of people.
Oh,
And so
yeah.
you can leverage that. And so we can leverage bigger pools of people, and the government can work with the insurance companies. And if they won't play ball, then we move to universal healthcare. Sorry, like you won't work with us.
Mhm.
But the other piece about this country, like where we've gotten to, I get that we're a capitalist economy, but we've gone so wildly in one direction where the profit of a few is at the expense of the many.
Yep.
Like, when is it too much? And it's too much at this point. You
Yeah.
cannot keep increasing your profits like that each year because it's hurting people.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, we're definitely late stage capitalism, like the latest. Like we're 11:59 and it's about to be
Yes.
midnight. Like that's a late stage capitalism we're in. It's bad. And I think people are waking up to that. Like they're like, "Oh, wait, like okay, I've been complacent this entire time, but like now that I'm getting everything stripped away from me, this has sucked the entire time, like not just
Yes.
now.
Mhm.
Yes. And it's
Like
interesting
we've
because
been
when I
getting
have these
scraps."
conversations about healthcare, some people, you have the person in the room who is like, "Well, I have a sister who lives in this country, and it took them 2 years to get this
Yep.
surgery." And I'm like, "Okay, like, that would work if this system was working, but people
Yeah.
here can't get care." So it's no longer and so fine, let's not take that model, but there are places doing this better than us, and we need to fix this. It's broken.
Yeah.
Real bad.
Yeah, real real
Real bad. And I
Real
think
bad.
we have to talk about the realistic way to get there because to
Yeah.
everyone's point, the long-term goal, I think, for most people would be some form of universal health care. But it is not a snap your finger, show up day one, pass that legislation, especially depending on the type of majority you're gonna have.
Mhm.
It might be you might have to work a little bit more with Republicans to get there. So having a more realistic
Yep.
way to at least start lowering the costs, making it more accessible and working towards that and starting to fix those broken aspects of it is going to be probably the next 4 to 10 years of our
Yeah.
Yeah.
future is gonna be really fixing it.
And that's where too, it's working on multiple things at the same time. That's also the
Mhm.
job, right? And another key component is campaign finance reform, because right
Mhm.
now, so many members of Congress are bought by the insurance companies.
Mhm.
And so long-term goal, overturn Citizens United. Short-term goal, I do have a platform that says, sure, super PAC, sure, corporation, you want to donate to a candidate. We're going to tax your donation and use that revenue to fund a public pool for people to run.
I loved that.
We've got to be doing it all at the same time. And then that's that education piece too, of coming back and speaking with the community about why that's important. Like, how are
Mhm.
they like, well, if you're getting, $10,000 to $20,000 a year from insurance companies to maintain you being in office, you're probably not going to regulate them.
No.
So,
No.
I'm sold. I'm
They're
sold.
gonna go, "What do you mean?"
What?
You know? And you also, like, we talked to somebody who has, like, a grassroots healthcare pack, and she's a surgeon, and she was saying, like, "You wanna snap your fingers and do universal healthcare overnight. Do you have the employees? Do you have the infrastructure? Do you have the healthcare workers in place to handle the fact that if there was universal healthcare, everyone would be seeking healthcare
yeah.
all the
Mhm.
time?" There's so
Yeah.
many aspects that are broken, and right now we're watching hospitals close
Yep.
left and
Yep.
right. People leaving healthcare because they don't know if they're gonna have that job in the next year. So they're preemptively they're like, "I gotta go now," you know? So much that just has to get fixed.
Yeah.
So I love
Yeah.
more realistic tackle
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
Yeah.
healthcare.
It's always
Yeah.
like
There's no
one thing.
universal health.
No, you're and like one issue, and then it's like bump, 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 bump. Like,
Mhm.
okay, all the different angles you got to work on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why you all
Yeah.
need to be in there so that everybody can
Yes.
Mhm. Yeah.
be tackling all different things at once. And I think for you, something you're going to bring to the table that not a lot of the other candidates can bring is that you have inside knowledge. You've been a state rep, you've been serving as a state rep for multiple years. So, what type of inside knowledge have you learned as a state rep that you're really wanting to bring over into Congress?
Sure. Thank you for that question. So
Mhm.
I think it's understanding that infrastructure. And certainly the Connecticut General Assembly is different than
Mhm.
Congress.
Yeah.
However, committees, who gets to chair committees, how you get bills raised in a committee and brought to have the discussion and move forward, those dynamics and personalities, different people, but same dynamics. And
Mhm.
so understanding how that works and how you need to build like internal coalitions within Congress to
Yeah.
push to get
Mhm.
your issues raised. And then leadership. I'm not pleased with Hakeem Jeffries. That said, he could potentially be my next speaker, right?
Yeah.
There's this interesting tension and dynamic. And so for me, it's figuring out and meeting with as many members of the House Democrats as possible first to figure out who do I align with, what are
Yes.
they, what do I care about, how can we push from the inside, like what has worked, what hasn't worked, because we and ideally we will have a lot more people elected, right, who feel the same way, can then push internally on the speaker or the minority leader, whatever the case may
Yes.
be,
Mhm.
for so understanding those dynamics. And then something I think I bring is even before I was elected to the legislature, I was an advocate. I worked at different nonprofits
Yep.
lobbying the state legislature on social justice issues. So I understand the important role that advocacy groups play and that you need that inside outside game. And so
Yes.
working with those partners is incredibly important to get what you want to get across the finish line or to the next goalpost. Wow, I never use Sports metaphor. Maybe it's the hour. They're just flying
We're
out.
picking up what you're putting down. We got it.
Literally said, we started asking this question to people. Like, we were shocked to learn that a lot of reps don't use local activist groups to get their intel when they're in Washington. And I was like, why wouldn't that? Is literally a free line
So easy.
to your constituents. They know more than anyone how your constituents are being affected when you're not physically there. Why wouldn't you use them?
You need to. And then vice versa. I need to share, like, this is why I'm working on this piece right now.
To them.
Yeah, to them. Like, this gets us to this piece. And then if everybody understands, we can actually read this.
Yes. And they can hold you accountable of like, no, I know you're focusing on this, but this is really an issue.
Yeah.
And that's how this is supposed to work. That's how we camaraderie.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's what like also impressed us like so much about you. It's like, okay, you're like a huge advocate like when it comes to like for women and like you're out there with like SEIU and whatnot. So we're just like, okay, like she's very in tune with what's going on. And I think that is what our reps are missing right now. Like I meant to say out of touch. They're very out of touch. But like you are very in touch.
Thank you. Yeah, they get into that bubble. You know, it's that thing, like whenever anyone has been in a job too long, they'll say, well, this is just the way we do it. Yeah. And that's why I feel like the Congress people. And you're like, but it's not working. We don't want you to be doing it that way. And you're not listening to anybody.
It's tradition.
Yeah, it's tradition.
Yeah, that's got to go. We need some people that start flipping tables. We need people. We need to go in there with a strategy. If we have Hakeem, there's nothing we can do to remove Hakeem. Like if that's what happens, you have to figure out how to work together to work with him, hold him accountable, put pressure on him, which we have watched with, Chuck Schumer. We've seen the Senate Dems, they don't put pressure on him. They don't push back on him. Everything he says go, and their followers. They can't be like that in this type of administration. And if they can't, they all need to go. And I think they're kind of calling our bluff. Like, you won't do it. You won't vote us out. You won't. And now they're like, you won't, right?
Yeah.
They're like, why do you guys love primary so much right now?
You're like, oh my God,
you did out.
Want to do like, are going to come in here, and Jillian's not going to leave me alone.
We're like, maybe you should have tried to call our bluff. We're petty.
Hakeem does not want to see you show up on the floor. He doesn't. He just doesn't, because
I'll be hyping in the
you
back.
don't want to write a strongly worded letter. You want to flip the whole table. No. And that's what they're afraid of, because they have these big donors that they have to answer to, and you're going to get in the way of that. And that is what we mean by money out of politics. That's why it's so important. It absolutely has to be.
Yeah. And we can't get it all out at once. Like, that's super unrealistic. And like, we get that. But it's like also, okay, if we can't get it out completely, then to your point earlier, oversight the money in the politics, tax it, cap it at a certain amount. You know, until we get the overturn citizens impeachment button to turn it off, like we're going to have to, do something like that until then.
Yes. We need to pull every lever possible.
Yeah. Yes. Throw everything at the wall.
Yeah.
With all the leverage we can.
Yes. And then speaking of that, throwing things at the wall, when you do get elected, what are your top 3 priorities?
Holding corporations accountable, which I believe will make life more affordable for folks.
Yes.
A living wage. You've already heard 100% profit out of healthcare. And public education is huge for me. I think even before the Trump administration has torn down the Department of Ed, we haven't invested in our public education system. And so we need to pay our teachers. We need social support. It's where our kids are all day, and we need to invest in it. So,
right?
Yes. Yes.
It's, and of course, those are the top 3 priorities that this administration wants to axe. So,
yeah, exactly. We got Charlie Kirk hanging over the DOE right now. Gross.
Yeah,
certain things hit my social media, and I lose my mind. And that was one. I was like, is this real? What am I looking at?
Mhm.
It almost feels
Mhm.
like the Twilight Zone, you
Yeah,
know?
like, is this a fever dream? Like, what? He
And
doesn't
I
have a
think
degree.
yes, I agree, first of all, but I think it's just an overall lack of education on the Department of Education. I think
Yeah.
people who say we need to completely destroy the Department of Education, it's broken, and then I say, "Can you explain to me,
Why?
what your view of the what do you think they do? What is the Department of Education?" They're like, "They're just not teaching our kids and being trans, and we
It's
can't."
like, "Oh, no.
And it's like,
You were
yeah,
left behind too."
clue about the Department of Education.
Yep.
They were told to not like it, and they were like, "Got it. We don't like it."
And how fortunate we are. Public education. I mean, that is amazing when you think about the original concept and it's kind of like a library. That too to me. I'm
Yeah.
like, that's like well done, like libraries,
I
like
it w the
Right?
fire departments, there's certain things that you're just like, wow, that was a really great idea that
Yeah.
we
Uh-huh. And
Just literally
the best description I heard of it was when somebody said that it's just the civil rights division for education, and, like, that makes all the sense.
Mhm,
Mhm.
mhm.
Yeah. Oh, also, before I forget, before it leaves my memory, for everyone that's going to be in the comments after I asked about the 3 priorities, she's not taking APAC, she's not taking corp money, okay, and she's part of citizens impeachment, so she's going to want to impeach him as soon as she gets
Yeah.
elected. There you
Yes.
go. You
Yes,
don't
yes,
have
and
to
yes.
ask now.
Thank you. Yeah.
They love asking those questions. You could talk about
Uh-huh.
taking money out of politics, and after that whole thing, they're still gonna comment and say, "But is she taking APAC?"
Okay, but
But I
is
need to
she
hear it
taking it though?
from her.
She didn't say it. She didn't say the magic word I want to hear.
Yeah, there's some magic words they like to hear. They like to hear, no APAC, they like to hear impeach, and they like to hear abolish.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I agree with all of those things. Yes.
There we
Impeach Donald
There
go.
Trump,
you go,
abolish
there's
ICE,
no
no APAC money. Yeah. The
Sheesh,
other
thank
thing I'll
God.
the other thing I'll put out there since we started it with the topic I kind of just breathe is women's health and safety.
Yeah.
And it is important to elevate because I don't think we have enough women in Washington right now who can speak
No.
to women's health and safety and who will push for women's health and safety. And so that's another issue area across the board where we are lacking in this country on
Yeah.
Badly.
preventing and addressing gender-based violence and
Mhm.
access to reproductive health care. So, um,
Yeah. Seems the only thing they care about with protecting women in women's sports is making sure that the trans community doesn't get access to sports and creating problems that don't exist. So that's the
yeah.
Yeah.
only way they are actually in their quote unquote protecting women. Yeah, women are dying at a higher rate during childbirth, especially the most high rate is black women, and that has not been addressed for decades.
Ever.
And we continue to see women, like you say, go into Congress, and it's appalling the amount of women who truly believe that this administration is trying to keep women safe, like Nancy Mace, what is going on? Even
Yeah.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, like these were the women that you elected into office, and they could care less that women are dying during childbirth in 2026.
Crazy.
It is
In
crazy.
2026.
2026.
Absolutely insane. So, all in all, people need to go out and vote. And one of the biggest hurdles that we're seeing right now is something we talked about earlier, that some people think the whole system's corrupt, so they aren't going out and voting. So,
Mm.
in your district was, talking to you about feeling that way, what would you say to them to, get them to still trust in the system and vote?
I'd say that the only way we change it is by engaging in it. And I can understand why you think the system is broken. In many ways, it is, but we're the ones who have the power to change it. And so we need to elect people who we believe in. And if they don't show us with their actions, then we vote them out. But that we need to engage.
Mhm.
Yeah, we don't get anywhere by doing nothing, and we've
No.
been yelling that at people in not the nicest way.
So we're not so nice about it.
Especially me. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm like,
Well,
you're an idiot.
and the system is functioning the way it is currently because so many people don't participate. And if
Right.
many more people did, I mean, I'm horrified at voter turnout numbers, like similar when you were saying you're gonna look at the data and get mad. I taught intro to political science as an adjunct, and
Nice.
I would put up the map and talk it through with them and just say like 30% turnout. What in the world? 28% turnout. And then I'd say to them, imagine if like all these other people voted.
I want it to be like Australia, mandated. You have to vote or you get fined.
Yeah. I think it should just be at 18, you are registered to vote. Like that to me
Well,
is a
then
low bar too. Like, why do you have to register to vote? If you are, you should just automatically at 18, you're
You
registered. I mean, I
registered.
know
well, then how would
why they don't want
Republicans
you to be able
win?
to.
They
Yeah,
don't want yeah.
yeah, they don't want you, but it's
How
like,
would they win anything?
why is there even a registrate? Like, this is bizarre.
Right?
Hmm,
And then you have to
things.
constantly check it. And if you move, you have to do everything. I think that's one of the issues is that so many people are tired, they're working multiple jobs. And then a lot of people move every year. If you're living in an apartment and
Mhm.
you're moving every year, and some people are like, I don't have time to remember to go online and change my voter registration. How have in the year 2026 have we not come up with a process that when you update your driver's license or you move, that just automatically updates your voter registration?
It's because we haven't had the will, because to your point, we have a lot of high tech stuff. So we could
Mhm.
do it. Like
Yeah,
we
you guys
do
want
have
AI.
yeah,
Yeah, you
they're
got
sending
Elon
drones and all this stuff. Like we've got it. We just
But we
choose
don't know
not.
how to update. We can't update voter registration
Yeah.
like from
something
our
isn't
home.
adding up
Like,
here,
yeah.
you know?
Things
That's
that make you
where
go, hmm.
the
Mhm.
layers go back, and I think a lot of people who know the system is corrupt have started to realize why it's so corrupt. I think it took a lot of people a long time to realize how much say big corporations and big
Mm.
PACs have in the legislation that gets passed or even legislation that gets to the floor. So really, I think anyone running grassroots or anyone running on taking money, big money out of politics should be the reason people go out and vote. Just
Yeah.
that alone. Just getting these big corporations out of our government should be the
Mhm.
number one reason that you go out and vote, even if you don't believe in the system, you know?
Yes.
Like, do it just in case. You lose nothing from it. You
Yeah.
lose nothing if you do, you lose most if you don't, actually.
It's a
So we
resistance. Like to
Yeah.
vote for a grassroots candidate, to root for the underdog, the one that the DNC doesn't want. The DNC doesn't want the grassroots candidates to win. Obviously, they want to keep everything as it is. And so it's like if you want to resist, the resisting isn't
Yeah.
voting. The resisting is going in and voting for that underdog candidate that even the DNC doesn't want to see on the general election. You know?
Yeah. You guys
Yep.
keep saying fuck the DNC so much, then vote for the candidate that they're not supporting. Like, Jesus
Endorsing.
Christ.
Mhm.
Support Jillian then. If you come on, Jesus Christ.
And I'll say again, there's in Connecticut, you can change your registration online and then you could change
Yes.
it right back the day after the primary. Like I get it if you don't want to be a Democrat, but to vote in a primary in Connecticut, you do. And
I
then just
changed mine back to Dem so I could vote in the primary.
yeah.
See? See?
Come on. Come on.
Yeah.
You don't have to love them. Like, to see, this is pissing me off. We have been presented the blueprint from the Republicans, the Tea Party. Like, hey, just get
Mhm.
rid of everybody you don't like. And everyone's like, I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know. Should I might do third party. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, you can actually make, like, you keep saying we need to make one. You can actually like do it.
You could
Yeah.
Like,
actually
we can actually do it, but you guys are lazy. Sorry.
get heated in here.
I'm getting riled up.
But now we're on
Okay.
to the fun portion.
Yeah, now we're on to the fun portion. I'm gonna take it down a notch. So, if you are president, who is your dream VP, living or dead?
Oh my.
Doesn't have to be a politician.
Yeah. that's the
Alice
fun part.
Paul.
Who?
Alice Paul, who
Oh, I
Alice
thought you said Niles. Who's that?
Alice Paul, and she fought for women's suffrage and then
Okay.
turned it and immediately went and introduced the ERA. There were problematic racial dynamics in the suffrage movement, important
Mhm.
to acknowledge and address and learn from. That said, she was a really strong advocate and pretty awesome and fought for women's rights. And so,
That
Right?
tracks for you. I can, yeah. That, that definitely falls in line with who you are. I'm not mad about it. That
Yes.
is, yep.
I would love to see a full female lineup. I'd love to see
right?
female president, vice president, a whole female cabinet, speaker of the house. I would just really love Barbie's dream house. Uh, and I
I'll
just
take a
watch.
Department of Defense, the
Yeah,
whole
a
thing.
woman, head of FBI.
Oh,
Yeah,
that would be perfect. Put a
everything would
woman
be
in
solved.
Department of Defense to get rid of Department of War.
Yes, to change it
That's what
back.
I want to see.
Yeah.
That's my manifestation. Woman Department of Defense,
Mm,
Secretary of Defense.
Yes,
No more
I
war
think
ever.
no more war ever.
perfect. No notes. No notes on that. Well, we always have to do like a would you rather, you know, who would you rather? And so this is a fun one because everybody's been getting questioned right now. We love the like congressional hearings where they bring somebody in from the cabinet and they question them and they love to not answer the questions. And we
Every
always say,
time.
Devin and I are like, oh, we don't want to run for office, but I wish I could be a part of the Senate or part of the oversight committee that gets to question them. So who from the cabinet of this administration would you want to question the most right now? You get the microphone in front of them. You get to question them.
It's a toss up, but I'm gonna Christy Noam.
Could have did it
Mhm.
today.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you could prepare today.
yeah, just because I mean
Yeah, she
terrorizing.
sucks.
Yeah, and
She sucks.
and I don't know if you've been to an airport in the last year, but you see her now. It's just like an
Ugh.
ad for her all over.
Mhm.
Yuck. Propaganda in the airport is wild.
Yeah,
I
Airport
think so.
propaganda is
I
nuts.
it'd
think
be her. It'd be her. It was between her and Hegseth, but
I think he'd just try to flirt with you or something,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
which is so gross.
Yeah.
I think that she's the one that's kind of starting to crack too during hearings because I feel like everybody else has their non-answer answers. Pam Bondi has her list of insults
Her
and her
burn
Yeah.
burn
book.
book. Cash Patel just pretends he doesn't understand any of the questions. But I think Kristi Noem and even today, some of the Republican senators like Tom Tillis was, really grilling her like about her book and about her killing the dog. And you could
That
see
was
she's
crazy.
so thrown off now with people from her side of the aisle questioning her.
Wow.
She's starting to crack a little bit and she's starting to kind of answer the questions she would have never answered the first time.
Mhm.
So I think if you guys got in there and you guys were able to question her and were able to throw her curveballs, you might actually get an answer.
Okay. I'm gonna go back and watch these clips from today.
I
Each one
what
is getting better and better. They're like really building up their confidence.
what gets me about her is that every time people are like, basically, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, why did you kill your dog? And she's like, well, like, I can't believe you asked me that. It's like you wrote it down.
You wrote it in a book. Mhm.
Nobody forced you to do that.
Yeah,
I
she
have
was
a 13-year-old daughter, and she refers to her the one that shot her dog, and I'm like,
dog.
yes.
Like, what a legacy. What a legacy to leave
That's your
behind.
legacy.
Yeah.
He said, he was like, "That's really
Yikes.
disturbing that you did it and that you wrote about it in your book as if that's, like, something we'd all laugh at or understand." I mean, she was even asked the one trip up today was she was asked, why she called Alex Preddy a domestic terrorist and if she would apologize to the family for doing it, and her response, because she got tripped up, was that she didn't call him a domestic
Mhm.
terrorist. She said that it was an act of domestic terrorism, and
Mhm.
Amy Klobuchar was like, "So you called him a
Oh,
domestic terrorist?"
yeah.
And
You're
she
not
How is
even
that
doing
"No,
different?
I
semantics good.
didn't." So there are cracks forming.
Okay.
There are
Mhm.
cracks forming. So I would
Mhm.
I would agree. She'd be one that I'd wanna really question.
Awesome.
I'd go
Okay.
for
I'm ready.
Hegseth. I'd go for Hegseth. Yeah, definitely. All right. So we're in our head, we're imagining we're gonna visit everybody once they
When you win.
win. We're gonna go on a world national tour. So when we do, what is your hidden gem in Connecticut? Where are we going?
Dork alert, but they're
Uh-oh.
amazing. So it's the Mark Twain House and the Harriet Beecher Stowe House we have right here in Hartford.
I'd like to check that out.
Yeah, they're awesome, and they're these amazing
Yeah.
museums, and it then tells you the whole history. Like, Hartford was, at one time, like, the epicenter of politics and
Yeah.
intellect,
Mhm.
Mhm.
and so those are my hidden gems. I really enjoy
Okay.
learning about, like, old
Okay.
Hartford. Yeah.
Alright.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Mark Twain.
Maybe we'll I'm from Massachusetts, from Boston, so, and my family, a lot of my family is down in, like, New Jersey, Delaware area, so we've always had to do the drive from Massachusetts to
Okay.
Jersey to Delaware, and we always say when we get to Connecticut, "Hang on," because there's always construction in Waterbury. It's
Yeah.
always an issue. We always growing up had most of our, like, big meetups and stuff in Hartford, Connecticut, and so driving through there, there was always, I'm gonna say
Mhm.
it, there was some issues that we had with Connecticut, but I
So
will
I'm
say.
originally from a town called New Windsor, New York, but it's near
Mhm,
Poughkeepsie. Anyway, you go
Mhm.
straight down 84 from New York to Connecticut. And I went to UConn and now live in West
mhm.
Hartford.
Yeah.
My parents, my dad, he is not a fan of 84. It's coming to visit Waterbury. He's always like,
Okay.
Waterbury.
Every time, without a doubt, it is what it is, and it's caused this animosity of the entire Connecticut. So I really, it's not you, it's just
Yeah.
Waterbury.
It's not you, it's Waterbury.
Fine with
All
Yeah.
right. Well,
Waterbury, but I will say, my mind has been changed on Connecticut.
Awesome.
yeah.
Yay. Thank
We'll make the road trip. We're not far.
We'll go to Connecticut. We'll
you.
drive through. We don't have to drive through
Yeah.
Waterbury, okay, if we're not coming from that area. If we're going to Hartford, we
Go a
can avoid
different way.
Waterbury. Avoid
Waterbury
Waterbury at all
and
costs.
tolls.
But yes.
Yeah. We have no tolls. That's
Hey,
that's
okay.
another debate for another day.
Some days I wish there were maybe a toll road. I'd rather pay the toll than to go to Waterbury. Those are some conversations we've had in the car. We've done our drive. But
That's funny.
Jillian, before we exit out, we want to give you a chance to shameless plug your website where people can find you. And if you are looking for volunteers, you have any events, and where to donate, just go ahead, shameless plug away.
All of
Awesome.
it.
I appreciate it. Thank you. So the website is voteforjillian.com, and Jillian is with a J. So voteforjillian.com. We do need volunteers. We are a very grassroots campaign, and so we'll be out there on the doors, making phone calls.
Mm.
Um, and you can sign up on the website. We also are hosting meet and greets where people can donate at the meet and greet, but also just to get to know folks. So we can help you through that process. Some people are like, what does that look like? But really, it's just like in your living room 15, 10, 20 people and having a conversation. Do need donations because it does cost money to run a campaign. And so you can make
Mhm.
donations also through the website. And then my social media is every single handle is at Gilchrest, Jil Chrest, just to be a little confusing. But that's my handle. And you can follow along there to see what I'm working on, what I'm talking about. And people should feel free to reach out because I'm just trying to get to know folks. And we can do this together. We can do this.
Yeah,
Yes. We
you
can
heard
do it. So
donate
vote
for a
and
dollar.
give her money.
Yeah. And money, please.
For your money. Okay, she doesn't want to ask you for the money. Okay, it's not that
Yeah.
they don't love waking up every morning and asking you guys for money. I promise you, after talking to all these grassroots candidates,
Yeah.
last thing they want to do is ask you for your money. But this is how the system's set up, and hopefully in the future, that's not how we have to run our politicians' campaigns. Is by having all this astronomical money donated.
Yeah.
So hopefully in the future they don't have to ask you for a
And
dollar.
let's speed that process up by electing them.
Yes.
Mhm.
Agreed.
Right?
Thank
We want a blue sweep, okay? Her primary is in August, so you guys have time. You should be checking your voter registration as you get closer. And like she said, it's
Daily.
closed primary, meaning if you are not registered as a Republican or a Democrat, then you are not able to participate in the primary. You can
So
participate in
that's
the general
huge.
election. But she
Yeah.
needs you for the primary because she's running up against the incumbent that needs to go. So
Mm.
register as a Democrat, and like she said, literally the next day you can go back
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
independent or unaffiliated, whichever, but make sure you don't wait till the last minute to do that.
I was just about to say that. Don't wait.
Some places have like deadlines. I forget. I don't know if you guys have like a deadline as to when you have to change.
Of course, to make it more confusing, if you are unaffiliated, which what's
Oh
so
boy.
interesting is a lot of people think you're independent, you're probably an unaffiliated in
Mhm.
Connecticut.
Mhm.
And so you have up until the day, but again, don't wait till the day, but you have
Don't
up until
Yeah.
the day. But if you are registered as a different party, like if you're a Republican or you truly are in the independent party, it's 3 months before. So yeah, there are crazy rules in our
Mm,
state. So to check
damn.
now, and you can just go on the Connecticut Secretary of State website. Just Google again, Connecticut voter registration, boom,
arbitration.
it'll pop up. Go to the website and then see, you can just type yourself in and you can see what you're registered as and change
Yeah,
it right there.
don't wait.
See,
Yeah.
Just
guys,
pretend
it's
like
so
no
easy.
matter what, you're registered, you need to do it 3 months before, okay? Do
Yes.
it now.
Yeah, like right now,
Wow.
like after you're done, after you're done watching this, go.
It's just put another
Yeah.
tab and go do that because that is something I think a lot of people don't realize. And, primaries are very important, not
Yeah.
just for Jillian, but for local elections as well. Those, a lot of that is done in primaries as well, and there are special elections. So just make sure that you're doing that, please, and thank you.
Please.
And
Please.
go to Jillian's website. She has everything lined up. I mean, one of the best websites, just
Thank you.
everything outlined as to her policy
Mhm.
and stance. And the great thing about these grassroots candidates is they do actually want to talk to you. They
Mhm.
do. They want to answer your questions. So if you
Yeah.
really want to hear from Jillian's mouth in person that she doesn't take any money, then you can reach out
Hit her up.
and
If you're on my social, I'll respond to you on the social.
if you need to take a video of yourself saying it, she will
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
that for you. That's the great thing about these grassroots candidates. And that's why we're highlighting them every single Thursday, all the way through November. So make sure you're checking back in every single week and supporting them and liking and sharing and getting their voices out there because they're grassroots. They need the social media power to get their names out there. And we just are grateful we get to do it every week. And Jillian, we thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule on a primary night to come and sit with
Mhm.
us and share everything about your campaign and your policies, all the ways you're going to help us and the state of Connecticut. They are going to be
Thank
very
you
lucky
so
to
much.
have you on their ballot. So thank you.
Thank you
Oh yeah.
guys for
Thank you.
elevating our voices. I appreciate it. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
it's the least we can do with what we
The
have. So
least, the bare
thank you.
minimum.
Yes. And everyone, make sure you tune back in next Thursday. We hope you have a great night. Bye, everyone.
Bye.